This is the gospel according to the IRS, Breaking Points and Church Financial Updates. And now, here's the authority, Dr. Michael Chitwood and Breaking Points.
This is Michael Chitwood. Welcome to Breaking Points today, and we have a massive entire subject that we are covering, and we will continue to cover this because this is Breaking Points. Grab your pad and your pen if you would, please, because this subject of private annulment even stretches back to the old PTL days with James and David Taggart, Richard Dortch, and all of those individuals that were involved in that situation. Now, they didn't mean to do anything wrong, but how many of you know that it's not what you know that will hurt you, it's what you don't know. And sometimes people just become trapped with these kind of situations. So what I'd like to do, if I could, is I'd like to continue with this subject of breaking points. And I want to make sure that you are following this, so let me do a review. Number one, no persons or persons may own the church. Number two, no persons can take property or receive dividends or any money from the church. Number three, the church must operate exclusively for its exempt purpose, and no earnings of the church can inure to an individual. Let's continue with point number 4 today. By the way, thank you for being with us, and thank you for being a member of Clergy Safe and Clergy Network of America. And by the way, just a note, we're always having people to call and talk about how that they like this information because you just can't find it anywhere. See, there's a lot of people that want to put you in a bookkeeper or check writer's position, but ladies and gentlemen, just because you accept that position, you do understand that penalties are now transferable to the responsible party, whether you're paid or whether you're a volunteer. And I'm going to cover that in a later session. But for today, I'd like for us to make a note. Grab your pen. The statute 501c3 uses the term annulment for the purpose, no part of the earnings of the church or the 501c3 may inure, I-N-U-R-E, to the benefit of any private individual. In fact, annulment, write this down, means to serve to the use or benefit of an individual, a gift someone receives from your church or property that you take from the church. Number 4, I'd like for you to make this note. Basically, annulment is generally found to exist in the setting of tax-exempt organizations. It's very difficult for you to have any annulment in a for-profit. It just doesn't occur. But what you will find is in the non-profit settings, the tax-exempt settings, you'll find that most of this annulment will take place. So number 4 is basically annulment is found to be found and to exist in tax-exempt settings where money or something of value has been transferred. And by the way, make a note here, that includes benefits. Not just money, but benefits. I had a man one time, I was attending his mother's funeral. And just before the service began, 2 or 3 days, I spent the week with him out there in Texas. And when I was there with him, he wanted to take me down to the Galleria and buy me a new suit with a church check. You understand that even if he did buy me a suit with a church check, that still would be income to me. He didn't give me money, but he was going to give me a suit. Now, we didn't allow that. We said, if you want to do that, we would be grateful if you did it, would accept it, but it has to come from you, not from the church. If you're buying suits from the church checkbook, you could wind up with a serious prison ministry. And I hope you know by now there's 2 types of prison ministries. There's one where you're on the inside looking out, and there's one where you're on the outside looking in. And you can choose this day which prison ministry you want, but for me in my house, I choose to be on the outside looking in. And I know most of you can give me a witness to that fact. No one wants to do anything that's going to get us in trouble. Why take the chance of doing something wrong that's going to cause you irreparable harm? Could be for the rest of your life. You don't want to take that chance. Make this point. The word, when we talk about annulment, we're talking about any person with the authority to decide to cover and make a certain transaction decision. I want you to make that note as number A. Any person, any individual who has the what? The authority. Underline that word, if you would, on your pad today, because many people qualify as the responsible party. I'm going to discuss that in tomorrow's program. So the authority and the responsible. Number 2, it's a member of a family member. A member of your family could be involved in private annulment. And the third thing is a substantial contributor. If you have someone that's making substantial contributions to a 501c3 and receiving substantial benefits back from that 501c3, then that's private annulment, and you could wind up in serious trouble. Now, I don't know about you, but I have found this. We've got 5 components that I've got to deal with, and I've got to make sure that you understand it. But before I go above that, I want you to know that this also includes annulment to deal with all affiliates, any affiliates that you have with that. For example, you have a church as a 501c3, and then you have your own ministry as a 501c3. If there's any benefit or annulment between those organizations, then you could wind up in very serious trouble. Tomorrow, I know I told you I was going to do it today, but I just didn't get to it. Tomorrow, I'm going to deal with the 5 components that will help you erase, forget, private annulment to the fullest extent. And remember this, my concept is this: face it, fix it, and then let's forget it. I want to face it, fix it, and forget it. I don't care what you've done wrong. I want you to get your house of worship in order. Reverend, you need to listen to me right now. The Lord wants you to get your house of worship in order before it's too late. Don't wait too late, and don't think that they'll never get you. Remember, it's not if they get you, it's when they get you. So all of you need to make sure that your house of worship is in order. Make sure that you talk to the trustees. Make sure that you talk to the deacons. Because, ladies and gentlemen, what I found is this, that it's better to be safe than to be sorry. This is Michael Chitwood, and until tomorrow, I will see you on Breaking Points tomorrow. Thank you, and God bless you.
Breaking Points gives you the latest IRS updates and tax law. Pastor, if the IRS came to your church today, what would you say? If you really want your house of worship in order, call 1-800-345-9117.